Okay, really quick, before the start of this video, because I know I normally just go straight into, the meat and potatoes. Thank you for 20 subscribers. I know it's a small amount to some people, but, oh god, it just means the world to me. I don't want to make this too long, so... Oh, and also my new schedule. I'm going to be posting on Fridays, Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesdays. I know it's only 4 days out of the week, but I need all the other time to do work. So, yes. Now on to the video. Sorry for the intro. Fall was now in full swing once October came. The weather had stopped fluctuating between hot and cold, the chill finally setting in. Halloween was creeping in closer and closer, but decorating for Halloween is never complete without pumpkins. And not the pumpkins from the grocery store. Only the pumpkins had picked from the field would do. Now Kirishima knows too. You sat in the driver's seat this time, too eager to let Kirishima drive. He sat in the passenger seat, gently holding your hand. His attention was mostly at the window, looking at the leaves on the trees. The vibrant red and yellow was catching his eyes. You squeezed his hand, pulling his attention out from the window and back to you. Are we almost there? My phone fell. You asked softly, pulling your hand away and putting it back in the wheel. This caused Kirishima to pout slightly before he reached down to grab your phone. Yeah, it says 5 minutes. You need to take your next right and we're there. Kirishima responded as he placed your phone back in the cup holder. You hummed contentedly, giving your hand back to Kirishima. He happily took it back and resumed looking out the window. This stretch of the drive was mostly free of trees, being occupied by far stretches of open land that had farms on them. The best places to get pumpkins were local farms where you could pick them yourselves. You could see the horses and cows dotting the pastures in the distance. Horses, Kirishima mumbled softly, causing you to laugh. Kirishima smiled at you before looking back at the window. You saw the turn coming up and put your blinker on. You two decided to go on a weekday so it didn't look like the farm was too busy. You carefully parked the car and looked over at Kirishima, who was already looking at you. Are you ready to have the time of your life? You asked happily, giving him a wide smile. As ready as I'll ever be, he hummed in the response. He leaned over and gave you a quick kiss before getting out of the car. You followed his lead and ran over to his side. How does this work anyway? You took his hand in your own and started guiding him towards the farmhouse, that seemed to have a market on the inside and the outside of it. Usually you pay for the pumpkins by weight. And I plan on getting the biggest pumpkin I can find, Kirishima said as he wiggled his eyebrows at you. Ooh, my boyfriend is so manly, you giggled as you pulled him a little closer to you. He smiled happily and flexed his arm, posing for you. Wow, I'm just the luckiest girl in the entire world. No. Listener, I'm the luckiest guy in the entire world, Kirishima said softly, stopping the two of you. He gently cupped your face and leaned down to give you a soft kiss. You looked up at him and with big eyes and a slight pout, feeling your cheeks begin to heat up. I think we can settle this and say we're both lucky, you responded before pulling him in for another quick kiss. Kirishima smiled at you before continuing to walk, pulling you along with your connected hands. What's this tractor for? Kirishima asked once you got behind the farmhouse. There were a few people gathered around the tractor before someone started helping them get into the trailer that was hooked behind it. There were hay bales on the floor for people to sit on. That's how we get into the pumpkin patch, Kiri, you hummed as you lead him over to the tractor. It cycles around to drop people off at the patch and bring people back to leave. Kirishima nodded slightly before helping you up onto the trailer. You offered your hand, which he gladly took. The two of you settled down on the hay bale and looked at the people around you. There was a family with 2 small kids and 2 other couples. Kirishima gently placed his hand on your thigh and gave it a gentle squeeze. You smiled at the gesture before taking his hand in your own as the tractor began to move. It was a relatively slow ride out to the pumpkin patch. The route gave you a show of the other crops that the farm was growing, like corn, which was currently being used for a corn maze. There weren't many people in the field, which was still filled with an abundance of pumpkins. Usually, once it gets close to Halloween, there aren't many pumpkins left, but this farm proved to be an exception. The tractor gradually came to a stop and the driver came back to help people out. Since you and Kirishima were the closest to the back, you two were the first ones out. Kirishima made sure to help you off the trailer. He interlaced your fingers before pulling you out of the pumpkin patch. "What's your game plan?" Kirishima asked softly as you pulled him into a hug, giving your forehead a kiss. "I just want to have a decently sized pumpkin so I can carve. I'll know it when I see it," he responded, nuzzling into his chest a little bit. "Well, you can't see much now," he teased as he wrapped his arms around you tightly. "I'm not complaining," you whispered into his chest. "I could stay here forever." Kirishima smiled widely as you held him even tighter, if that was even possible. He rested his chin on top of your head as you wrapped your arms around his waist. You sighed contently into his chest as the two of you stayed like that for a couple of minutes. Eventually, you two were interrupted by a person walking up to the two of you. "Do you guys want to take your picture?" "You two are just so cute," a woman said, causing you to pull away from Kirishima. You looked up at him before looking at the woman. "That would be great," you said, pulling your phone out of your pocket and handing it to her. You walked back over to Kirishima with pursed lips, looking around. You grabbed 2 small pumpkins and handed one to Kirishima. "Here, Kiri, to pose with." He nodded his head as he took the pumpkin by its stem. You held yours the same way and nuzzled yourself into Kirishima's side. You two posed for a couple's pictures, Kirishima taking the opportunity to get one of him kissing you on the cheek. You thanked the lady as he handed your phone back. Meanwhile, Kirishima returned the small pumpkins back to the ground. "Aw, these are so cute," you cooed softly, holding out your phone to show your boyfriend. "Oh my god, babe, we're so cute. You have to send me these," Kirishima gushed with a wide smile. You smiled to yourself as you sent him the photo. "Come on, let's go find some pumpkins." It took you longer to find a prize pumpkin than it did for Kirishima. It wasn't that hard for him. It stuck out like a sore thumb in the middle of a field. He ran to get it while you wandered through the patch. He came waddling back over to you as he observed the pumpkin. "Babe, look. Tell me this isn't the biggest pumpkin you've ever seen." Kirishima cheered as he presented his pumpkin. You turned from your pumpkin and gasped softly. "That's the biggest one I've ever seen in a pumpkin patch," you giggled softly. So manly, holding a pumpkin with ease. Kirishima smiled at your words as he gently placed the pumpkin on the ground beside him. You turned back to the pumpkin you were previously inspecting. "I think this is the one," you mumbled to yourself, gently picking up the pumpkin off the vine. You held it at eye level and thoroughly inspected it. This was no rotting, and it seemed to have the exact size and shape you were looking for. "Kiri, this one." "Well, the tractor's heading up back this way, if we're all good," Kirishima said, reaching down and picking up the massive pumpkin. You nodded in response and began to make your way towards the spot where the tractor had originally dropped you off. You looked behind you to see Kirishima waddling close behind you. You got there as the tractor came to a stop. There were a couple of people waiting there with their selections as the new customers made their way out of the trailer. Again, you and Kirishima were the last two to get in the trailer. You needed help to pull Kirishima's monster pumpkin up before he could take a seat next to you. "It's a little heavier than I expected," Kirishima huffed as he settled by your side. He wrapped his arm around you gently and pulled you close. The ride back was as slow as the ride there. You cuddled yourself into Kirishima a little more as the wind picked up slightly. The chill in the air was just slightly more pleasant, causing you to shiver. The tractor came to a jerky stop and Kirishima hesitantly pulled away from you. He jumped out first and carefully rolled his pumpkin to the edge of the trailer. He grabbed you as you jumped off the trailer with your own pumpkin. You guided Kirishima to the front of the farmhouse so the two of you could pay for your picks. The two of you put your pumpkins on the scale and the attendant told you the price. You went to pay, but Kirishima shooed you away, paying instead. You took the pumpkins back to your car and put them in the trunk. You climbed back into the driver's seat and waited for Kirishima to get in the car with you. You asked him softly as you gently held Kirishima's face in your hands. He leaned into your touch with a smile. "Yeah, it was. I just loved doing anything with you. You could take me to a dump and I would still have the time of my life because you would be there," Kirishima said as he began to lean in closer. "Oh, Kiri, stop. I love you," you whispered softly, connecting your lips. Kirishima tried to move as close as he could, placing his hands on your upper thigh. "I love you too," he mumbled against your lips, giving your thigh a gentle squeeze. You gasped softly into the kiss before pulling away. You could feel how hot your cheeks were getting. Kirishima looked at you with lidded eyes, keeping the distance between the two of you small. I think you trailed off as you dropped your hand from his face and grabbed the front of his shirt. We should go home. Yeah, he mumbled in response before leaning in to kiss you again. You pulled him closer to close the distance between your lips. They moved effortlessly against each other. You could feel Kirishima's hands begin to get more grabby than before. You used your grip on the front of his shirt to force him away from you. You could only see a pink twinge dancing across his cheek slightly. We have to go home. We have pumpkins to carve, you hummed softly, readjusting yourself in your seat. And other stuff, Kirishima retorted. Kirishima? What? Are we not going to tell me I was wrong? Help me find the keys. Hello, everyone. At the end of the video, yeah, you made it. Few quick things. You heard my new schedule. It's going to be Wednesdays, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Only because I need time to work every other of those days, besides Wednesday, where I do work, but I do have a little bit more time. With all that said, like, subscribe, comment down below, because I answer all your comments. And all of you who have commented are really, really nice and supportive, so thank you very much. Also follow my Instagram to vote on things you want to see, because I posted a poll on my story, and Carrie Fluff won, so that's what we're doing today. So yeah, that's it. Don't forget, I'm the Lady Otaku. Bye!